Welcome everyone to the Underground Sound. I am DJ X Tech. With me, as always, is Carlos Fandango. We are putting the us back into music.
So please do like, subscribe, and share, and let's get your music out there.
Absolutely. To all the new subscribers, to all the old subscribers, welcome. And for those of you that don't know yet, the new website is up. It is usundergroundsound.com. Please be sure to go check the website out. Not only does it have the videos on there, but it also has our Spotify playlists, all sorts of musician information and links back to the show, submission types, and all that kind of good stuff. You can find it there. It is our official home, usundergroundsound.com. And a big shout out here going out to Nathan Brashear, our show sponsor, episode 16 show sponsor. Nathan Brashear, Monsters Are Real. Thank you very much for the show sponsorship. To find Nathan's music, Monsters Are Real, by all means, please visit the video description and check out the links to all that fantastic music that he has. Not only his music, but the indie artists who we are going to review today. And speaking of reviewing today, episode 16, November 11th, 2022, I want to say in the United States here, happy Veterans Day to all the veterans that are out there. Moving right along here, Carl, what do we have for song number one?
Right. Song number one, we've got an artist called Eddie O'Hare from Austin, Texas, USA, with a track called Leaving Fort Jackson. It says a new single recently released, my stab at a cowpunk song. We don't know much in the bio about Eddie, but I have had a listen to some of his tracks and saved a couple because I really like his stuff. It's a lot of fun vibes in it, and life and vibrance, and a bit old school as well. But this one's a right roistering ride of a track. It's good. Good way to start the show.
So it's going to be Eddie O'Hare with Leaving Fort Jackson. I think this is the first time I've ever heard the term cowpunk. So I'm pretty interested in listening to what the song has to offer here. So once again, Eddie O'Hare. We have 80 plays, 2 saves, 78 fires for this song. Leaving Fort Jackson. Let's check it out.
It's been 6 long nights digging holes and crawling through the mud. Whipping qualifications, don't think that I learned much. I've been missing the bayous and all my favorite sports. That's why I'm leaving Fort Jackson and I'm heading back to Swartz. Gonna take a ride up and down good old John Muir Road. Drive my truck down the banks of the Washita. Stumble up the levee with a flat
Leaving Fort Jackson, Carlos Fandango.
Right. Well, I mean, musically, it seeps in that sort of Sun Studio Johnny Cash sort of album feel, and vocally, it's got that sort of I don't know what they would call it, a radio mic sort of effect, but it sounds good. I don't know who to compare him to vocally, but it's got that sort of upbeat, feel good factor to it. It would be a good live song. In fact, it feels like a sort of rough and ready spit and sawdust bar type song. You can imagine a barroom brawl going on in a Clint Eastwood film with this sort of track in the background. So I really like it. It's upbeat, it's fun, and it's a foot tapper as well. So yeah, all round, really like it. It's a good show starter, that one.
It was definitely a good show starter, and I gotta say, I was thinking Conway Twitty meets Johnny Cash meets Billy Idol, kind of like this, really kind of like classic country vibe. What I really liked about it, one of the things that stuck out to me is that it's a good, there's good storytelling, right? Like you have a nice story that's laid out here with this classic like country theme to it, like really far like backwoods, Kentucky kind of like countryish theme to it, where the bass I was listening to where it had that dum 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 dum, kind of like a very simple bass, but if you could imagine like they used to show in the cartoons and everything like that, right? Like a couple of people sitting there with this backyard band, and one of them was like blowing into the big jug that says XXX on it, right? And it was like who. It was a really feel good song. So great storytelling, great melody. I do like the effect that was put on the vocal and the song overall, which did have that kind of like that radio vibe quality to it. So well done, I gotta say.
Yeah, really good. I mean, if anyone's interested in, like this kind of music and Johnny Cash and that kind of thing, and then check out his Folsom Prison and San Quentin albums. Check out more Eddie O'Hare as well, because there's a lot of this, well, not just this kind of thing, but he's really good at getting that Sun Studio sound. But also, yeah, if you do check out and you don't know the song Wanted Man by Johnny Cash, check that one out, because it's got that vibe to it, really good. So Bob Dylan wrote the song, but it's I think, and Johnny Cash played it. Little Force and Big Halsey is a good song from the late 60s from Johnny Cash. Some really great tracks, but it's really encapsulated that whole feel. And I think you're right, Conway Twitty, a bit of that in there as well. It is definitely a melding of those things, and as you say, that sort of slightly punky Billy Idol thing going on as well. So it's a nice fusion of stuff actually going on there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Now I'm starting to understand the cowboy punk
Cowpunk,
around
yeah.
right there. Yeah, the cowpunk, not cowboy, but the cowpunk that was there. So great job overall. So once again, folks, visit the video description below. Find these links if you like that song, and if you want to check out the Wanted Man.
Wanted Man. Yeah, good song.
Wanted Man.
Good
I'll leave that link in the video description below as well. So be sure to check that one out. Whoops. Some of the songs, obviously, we can't put up on the actual show here because of copyright restrictions. But hey, just hit the link and you'll get it. Takes 2 seconds of your time. Spread some love to all the independent musicians that you're going to hear here today and on the previous shows. Please, by all means, go visit those video descriptions as well. Find these artists, show some love. Moving on to song number 2, I see we have Shire Boy with a song called Bleed here.
Yeah, and I'm guessing, well, there's nothing much in the bio about the profile where Shire Boy is from, but I'm assuming could be from the UK in one of the Shire counties. But it's a play on words, I think, because he's a shy person, perhaps. So it's a Shire Boy. I'm guessing that's the play on words, which is quite clever. So that's intriguing. The song is called Bleed, and it says the song is about loyalty. Yeah, that's it. It says.
Yeah,
that's all we've got to go on. But they joined in October the 22nd, 2022. So real newbie to slaps.com. And so maybe this is actually the first track that they've uploaded, I believe, as well.
Okay. Well, this isn't doing bad. It's 38 plays, 4 saves, 61 fires. This is going to be the 49th play. This is Shire Boy with his song Bleed. And now I shall present the screen.
Yes, indeed.
could be alone in this situation. Maybe it's because of your reputation. It haunts me now that you're not around. Out of time, I look back at the station. Couldn't tell you how long this is taking. It won't be long before this train is gone. Wherever you go, I will follow, follow till the sun bleeds through the clouds. Whatever happens, happens. I can't imagine a life without you. Oh, no, no, no. Whatever we say goes. Just know that I need you so. You don't need to tell me that I'm overthinking. Been a little tipsy cause of all I drink. And you don't know what you don't know. And now I'm losing all. Wherever you go, I will follow, follow till the sun bleeds through the clouds. Whatever happens, happens. I can't imagine a life without you. Oh, no, no, no. Whatever we say goes. Just know that I need you so. Wherever you go, I will follow, follow till the sun bleeds through the clouds. Whatever happens, happens. I can't imagine a life without you. Oh, no, no, no. Whatever we say goes. Just know that I need you so. Wherever you go, I will follow, follow till the sun bleeds through the clouds. Whatever happens, happens. I can't imagine a life without you. Oh, no, no, no. Whatever we say goes. Just know that I need you so.
That one was Bleed by Shire Boy. Carlos Van Engel, let me know what you think.
What I think is, I always get distracted by the music to listen to the lyrics, although I couldn't make out all the lyrics anyway. But because he has that sort of contemporary vocal of that sort of slightly lazy pronunciation and enunciation style, a bit like Passenger, Never Let Her Go, that kind of vocal sound. But as I say, I quite like it anyway. It's a very contemporary, radio-friendly type of vocal. With the shakers and the cahixa and the all the Latin rhythms, it really gave a sort of summer feel, like you're on an exotic beach somewhere. And of course, the song ends with that sound effect of the beach and the waves and everything. So, quite well constructed, lots of detail in sounds. So it's a nice sort of soundscape you're listening to. I like that counter melody of the guitar and the whistly dum 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 dum, all that kind of thing going on. And it had I'll talk about ebb and flow, but this one had a nice flow to it. I think it just had a nice feel, a nice vibe, great for the summertime in a beach bar, and just a nice gentle song. It was nothing too special, but it was nice, and this sort of song you would definitely hear in this country in Radio 1 or on commercial radio. It's made for commercial radio. It is radio friendly.
Yeah. So once again, I mean, you said
contemporary radio
friendly. Yep. So there you go. Carlos and I are really sharing the same brain wavelength here. So I got to say, contemporary radio friendly. 100%. Give me a really nice kind of like Ed Sheeran kind of vibe to it. You know what I mean? The ukulele kind of like playing there with this with this kind of like love melody going on. It kind of sounded like a love song a little bit, right? Especially with the description. It's all about loyalty here. Definitely two comments that I had seen there, which kind of like sum up the song, is a chill summer vibe, and love it. Really wants me to take really makes me want to take a vacation, and that's where it's really going. So it's cleverly laid out, once again contemporary, so it would be very well done on the radio. I think it would perform very well on a on mainstream radio. If you played this song and anybody's in Florida cruising in their car, especially with the top down, the convertible, I mean, you could picture this in your mind, right? You're kind of like driving by and you have this song kind of like blasting in the background. This is kind of like this is kind of like what Florida's all about, is the vacationing, right? So very well done, Shire Boy, with that song Bleed. And now we move on to
It's that time, isn't it?
the
It is that time.
Destiny.
Okay, here it is. Here it is. So, okay, I'll stir the pot, as it were. Amnesia, say when.
Let's go right now.
Right. Okay, there's always a whole bunch of them. Right, that one's the definite clear winner. Okay, I don't think we've actually had this yet, but it does say acoustic.
Acoustic. I think we had acoustic
Oh,
once.
whenever I see the word acoustic, I can only ever think of Mike Oldfield because of Tubular Bells. I don't know if you're familiar with the album, but when he's doing the bit where he's adding all different guitars, and he'll say acoustic guitar. So it's the same with mandolin. When he adds the mandolin, he says mandolin, and that's all I can ever think of when I hear the word mandolin, acoustic guitar, and various other instruments, and tubular bells, of course. But yeah, it's one of those words.
All right, so we have 22 matches for acoustic. So we have acoustic instrumentals music. This has 1.4 thousand members, 18.4 thousand plays. Let's see what's going on with the new song here. Did that load? Or did it not? Slaps.
It can be quite slow sometimes when you're actually looking into different categories.
Say, come on, slaps. Come on, slaps.
Come on.
Let's go. There we go. Okay, so new song here. This one is called Spinballs, or it's from a group called Spinballs. The name of the song is called Sweet Amnesia. Let's start presenting the screen here. Doo-doo-doo. Sweet Amnesia. If we go onto the Spinballs profile here, let's find out some information for them. Oh, wow. So they have 83 followers, 1,608 plays with 33 tracks. They are from Portland, Oregon. Doesn't look like too many people left a lot of comments on this one. This one was posted just 6 hours ago, Spinballs. The Sweet Amnesia, also available on Spotify. So here's a little acoustic piece from my latest EP of acoustic guitar, Spinball style, released today. Check it out and give me a follow if you like. It is labeled as acoustic and guitar. It is 1 minute, 49 seconds, 6 plays. Let's give this one its 7th. Here we are, Sweet Amnesia. time. Yeah. Carlos Fandango, Spinballs, Sweet Amnesia. What'd you think?
Right, I take it the sweet amnesia is not referring to when you go into a shop and to buy a chocolate bar and you've forgotten which one you want. But it's basically, it's pretty sort of dark feel to it. That was a joke. Dark, sort of with the notes and the chords. Oddly enough, I'd mentioned Mike Oldfield, and not that it was comparable directly, but it did have those sort of folky layers of guitars in there. So. And I did like the backwards guitar, so wasn't really for me. It's obviously carving out a little sort of genre niche sort of thing of their own, Spinballs. But yeah, I mean, it was worth. I probably wouldn't listen to it over and over again, but it had interesting points in it. I actually like the backwards guitar. I thought that was quite an interesting sound. So I think if you could hear that it could be developed more. It could be bigger and it could be more interesting and with lots of pad synth sounds or something, orchestral maybe or something. But I think it could be made bigger and more interesting if you try. It has possibility for being more, having more to it, I guess.
I agree with you. I do like the reverse effect on the guitars. It gave it like another level of depth to the to just the strumming, which the strumming I thought was really clever as well. Honestly, tell you the truth here. So I mean, it needs some production, obviously, but maybe it doesn't because the annotation there was that it is done Spinball style. So maybe that is Spinball style, right? And so I guess with the reverse effect and the clever strumming and everything like that, if this is something that is Spinball style, then I think that maybe this is a genre of music that could that definitely, especially speaking of the band themselves, could probably develop a pretty good cult following. Because it's not bad. I was kind of like struggling to find somebody to compare to, but just because it's, for the most part, it sounds like a pretty kind of like looped strum, right? Especially with the reverse kind of like thrown in there. It just, I don't think that the time that it was like, what was that, a minute and like 32 or 52 seconds? I think that
49, yeah.
was something like that. So I think that's all that was really needed because if this is something that's done kind of like pre-production as like an initial idea, I think that the initial idea could move forward a pretty great deal because if I had to compare it to somebody right now, I could definitely see a band like Tool using this kind of strum and this kind of effect to develop into a bigger song. So I'm just gonna say, hey, just keep doing what you're doing. It's not horrible, but it's not fantastic. We're kind of like right there, like in the thought process idea portion, I think, of a song that could possibly turn into something bigger. That's my 2 cents right there. And so, folks, please, by all means, once again, hit the video description below, find these amazing indie artists and click their links, go show some love, drop a couple of fires, save a couple of songs, put them on your Spotify playlist, and by all means, visit usundergroundsound.com also, where we are putting the us back into music, so that way we have these playlists going, so that way we get these indie artists out there just even further, and maybe cut a paycheck for one or two of them, so we are on to song number 4 as the day progresses. Where are we going here, Carl?
Right, we've got ADDI, ADDI, solo artist from Valdosta, Georgia, USA. Valdosta, Georgia, USA. One track uploaded so far, and she joined 3rd of October 2022. 245 plays and 33 follows, 28 saves, 483 fires, and 245 plays of this track. It's good stats for this one track. This is called You and I. So it's You and I. This song expresses the feeling of loving someone very much, but knowing you have to let them go. It's painful, not easy, and it's hard imagining them with someone else. I hope you and I can resonate with you and help you feel understood if you've ever felt this way before. Much love to you. So let's see if you feel the love.
All right. You and I from ADDI is also available on Spotify. ADDI does have an Instagram and a YouTube channel. So go check that out. So 12 influences here for ADDI. Let's read off a couple just real quick. Billie Eilish, Halsey, Paufu. I don't know a Paufu. Oh my goodness. Lewis Campbell, Alexander 23, Tate McRae. Music is progressing faster than I can keep up with it. I only need 2 of those, honestly, tell you the truth.
Getting old, see.
It is the age catching up with everybody here. But yeah, 245 plays, about to be the 246 right now. 28 saves, 483 fires. By all means, great stats here. 3 minutes, 22 seconds. I'm going to assume very radio friendly right here from Valdosta, Georgia, in the good old United States. You and I by ADDI.
Remember when you and I had held each other? Lonely nights, wide awake, breaking down for you. You took my heart and cut me deep and left me broken, crying on the kitchen floor, knowing you're just gone. Why is it every time I close the door, you're there? Why is it every time I walk away? It's not fair. I don't wanna see you with another lover's face. I don't wanna see you telling me that it's okay. I don't wanna see you with another lover's face. I don't wanna see you telling me that it's okay. I knew that I was not enough for you to want me. I tried so hard to make you stay, but you just gave up. Why is it every time I close the door, you're there? Why is it every time I walk away? It's not fair. I don't wanna see you with another lover's face. I don't wanna see you telling me that it's okay. I don't wanna see you with another lover's face. I don't wanna see you telling me that it's okay. I don't wanna see you with another lover's face. I don't wanna see you telling me that it's okay.
Carlos Fandango. It's just you and I.
It is indeed just you and I. And well, yeah, I mean, I think I've put in the comments it was a chilled vibe and nice production. Atmospheric ballad with the waves, again, waves on the shores, sort of setting the mood for the start and end of the song. Now, I have a couple of issues with this. I mean, it's a very contemporary vocal, and this probably lends itself very much to the sort of Billie Eilish style of singing. I wouldn't say it's an outstanding track, but it is very radio friendly and contemporary. So it's the sort of thing you will hear, and it doesn't sort of really massively develop. It stays quite chilled all the way through. But the issues I have, and I wasn't sure if you're going to pick up on this, that the vocals feel slightly overlaid. There's two aspects of the vocal that do bug me. The one that is a modern vocal, in so much as words like each other are pronounced each either. She's not a New Yorker, I take it, but that would be the only reason I would say each either would be said. But a lot of vocalists do this sort of weird chewing manipulation of the words to make them sound like other words that don't exist. So that I have a bit of an issue with, but that's my own personal stylistic preference. Not, I like, you listen to someone like Sinatra and he pronounces and enunciates every word so well that you know what he's saying, and you can hear exactly what he's saying. The diction is fantastic. Same with a lot of the old singers, and I like that. Modern singers just have these different affected styles, really. The other thing I think I noticed on the had, instead of I don't want to lose you, it's had don't want to lose you, which is fine because a lot of singers do that. They say the H as a ha. But what I did have an issue with was I think that vocal segment was where a lot of people cut and paste those lines. Where they'd put the automation in there or the fade in on that, it could have been faded in nicely and it was cut in. So I think they'd cut that vocal in very slightly so that it was I don't want to lose, I don't want, rather than I don't want. So it wasn't a soft one. So they could have softened that vocal. And if anyone's out there that wants, self-producing, always listen to, if you're going to, you can either have your vocal, you've got your vocal, let's just say you did it in one take. I would say chop those vocals up and split them, do fade in, fade outs. If you want to keep some of the breaths in for various aspects and emotions of the song, fine. But, be mindful of those fade in, fade outs so that you're not chopping off bits of sounds and the articulations and things of the song, because it makes a massive difference. Cutting out a lot of the stuff in between it's a tiny thing to do. Takes time, but it makes a massive difference in the song. It's well worth doing. But other than that, it's a really, it's a very commercially viable song, because I hear a lot of stuff like this where, it's popular, and it's clearly popular on slaps because a lot of people have saved it and followed it and all that kind of thing. So it's definitely got a modern popular vibe to it. That's for sure.
That it does. So I picked up on the things that you were saying, which are the things that bugged me, which is, turn the monitors on here, and I was listening, and yeah, automation is a bit of an issue, and also the fact that the vocals do seem to be overlaid. So the way that I would describe this is that this is an amateur professional production, So whoever did the beats did it very well. Whether it was purchased, leased, or whether it was actually done in studio, and then kind of like maybe they wanted to take their shot here at kind of like mixing vocals, or maybe ADDI's doing them herself. I really don't know. So this is all just speculation on my point. So the beat and the melody, and especially the pads, and with that little ding 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 going on in the background, it's very professionally done. I think the vocals were a bit sloppy as far as kind of like putting them into the song, because personally I think that listening to ADDI's vocals, she has this kind of like Billie Eilish kind of like twing it in it, right? But if you can imagine like a higher pitched Adele voice also, right, then she definitely has that Adele vibe as well, I think. And so all I'm going to say here is, practice makes perfect, and kind of like keep going at it. And I don't know if you, ADDI, yourself are doing the vocals and the music production and everything. A little bit more work, maybe talk to a sound engineer, and just kind of like, take the advice for what it's worth, is because this is all creative comments here, all creative criticism, I should say, and wishing you nothing but the best, because I really do think that ADDI could have superstar written all over her.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I feel terrible for saying a few negative comments, and it's not meant badly, as we always try and say it constructively.
Yeah. Yes.
I think she's got a very nice voice. I just think I'd like to hear her sing in a less affected way, if you know what I mean. Not be someone else, be herself.
Right.
That's the thing I think that I'm picking up on, probably that vibe of the vocal stylistic things that are going on there. I think it would be nice to hear ADDI, not Billie Eilish, but ADDI. And I think this is a young artist, a lot of future and bright future ahead of her, clearly, because look at the response that's had on Slaps alone, one track. So that's really good start on Slaps. So she's definitely on the right tracks and just needs to keep refining, chiseling, keep sculpting, because that sculpture will become absolutely brilliant at one stage, and it's got potential to be big.
It absolutely does, 100%. So if you liked ADDI, absolutely 100%, hop into the video description below, find ADDI and any of the other artists that you have heard here or that you will hear throughout the show still. Click on their links, show some love. Nothing but respect here. Once again, sometimes I get it. The comments may sound negative, whether they're coming out of my mouth or Carlos's. But we absolutely mean nothing negative by any means towards any of these songs. It is just, once again, creative criticism. You figure between the both of us, Carlos and I have been in the music business probably for about approaching 80 years together. I should not 80, wow. 60. Wow, yeah.
I don't know. It's a long time.
I put way too many years on there. So my musical journey began in '98. It is now 2022. So
wow.
Yeah,
it's a long time, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I started writing around. I was thinking the other day, it was when I got my dad's beaten up old guitar, restrung it, and that was old then. I mean, I worked out that the guitar itself must be, he got it when he was 40. It's got to be 60 years old, that guitar. It's in the loft, and that's what I learnt on, and I started writing songs on that, and must have been about 1987 when I was 15 or something. So long. Oh my goodness, that makes me feel old now. So yeah, about 35 years. The oldest song, when I finally got my music out there, the oldest song at the time of that release was 31 years old. So it's just ridiculous to think that some of these songs are so old now. But the melody for one of the ones on the Christmas album was is now about 33 years old. So
yeah.
It's and yet it's been kicking around, knocking about in my head for years, and I sort of finally sort of put it to a made up a song for it. So but just, I think with people, just record every scratch. This is good advice. I mean, just get your phone, any device you can record it on, get those little tunes and melodies down, because you might need them one day and you might hear them and it might spark the best song you've ever written.
Absolutely. Listen, you have a voice memo recorder on your phone for a reason. So do it. Anytime you hear that melody, anytime you have a lyric, anytime you hear a beat, if you're just strictly producing beats, whatever you're doing musically, just pick up that phone, record it, come back to it later. It might sound like crap. It might be the next hit song. You never know. So the point that I was really trying to make there is Carl and I have just an eensy-wincy bit of experience in the music industry. So once again, we're not trying to be negative. We are trying to offer constructive criticism as to moving forward, possibly in your musical journey, and especially somebody that looks as young as ADDI does. I'm not going to speculate age here. There's a long road ahead. And before you know it, you'll have a podcast where you're reviewing musicians as well. So we're going to move on to track 5 here. We got Sipitriky?
Yeah. I was never sure quite because I always call it Sipitriky, but I think you're right, Sipitriky. That sounds better. Oh, I didn't even think of calling it Sipitriky. And now I've got that. That sounds really cool, actually, Sipitriky. Like Tripitaka. It's Adicción. Historia des amor des
I think it's Adicción.
Well, I did wonder if it's Adicción or Addition. You think Adicción? That makes sense, I should think. Let's just have a little look at the translate here, because I'm sure I did this.
I think with the two C's right next to each other back to back, I think it's Adicción.
Yeah.
So we would be talking about addiction. So Historia de Amores, which means history of love.
The story of lost love, it says here.
Okay.
Historia de amores desencontrados. Story of lost love.
Well, we got that, and while Carl figures out what adicción means, which I think it is adicción, I personally think it's addiction. So Sipitriky, very. Go ahead.
Oh, they're also from Montevideo and in Uruguay, and that's the first Uruguayan artist we've had. We've had Argentina before, but not Uruguay. So we are. Do you know what we need to get? Is one of those big world maps where you scrub off, one of those ones where people travel around the world and they scrub off with a coin or something where they've been, and it goes gold. That kind of thing. We should do that for this show. We should say we've been to every part of the world eventually. We
should. And I do have a graphic that does that, where we could take from, where would we centralize the show though? Would we centralize the show in Florida, or would we centralize it in the UK? That's the big problem right there.
Well,
because I could do it.
I think we'd better do London, old chap.
Okay. Well, we could do that. So we could always do from London, because we could do, once again, that graphic does exist where it basically draws a quick flight path. So so the song that we're reviewing here, we probably should do London, because we do have a lot of US artists as well. So that would look like a real nice graphic, I think.
Well, it could be good. Yeah, I mean, certainly it's plus we reach all different parts that we've been all over the world so far, but there's so many more countries that we will probably get artist music from. And although I'm not so sure about the Arctic or Antarctica, unless there's any sort of penguins and polar bears that are actually making music, then we're not going to get very much luck there. But we have been in most parts of the world so far. We've certainly been on most continents.
We absolutely have. Between this show and the Ones and Twos Underground, we have been literally probably everywhere, except for, as Carl had mentioned, we have not done the penguin polar bear trio just yet. So or duo.
Well, there is the Penguin Cafe Orchestra that, although they're a mainstream artist, so they're actually really worth checking out. If anybody out there hasn't heard them, the artwork's really good, the music's good. It's all mostly instrumental, but Penguin Cafe Orchestra, definitely recommend them.
Let me write that down.
It's odd music, but you might like it, Tom, because it's stuff that you could actually some of the stuff's probably been sampled a few times, but some of the tracks you may know. There's about 3 or 4 tracks that have been used in adverts and things.
All right, well, there you go. The Penguin Cafe Orchestra will be down in the links below, as will be the one that we mentioned before, Wanted Man. And right now, once again, Sipitriky with Adicción.
No traiciona cuando pifia, cicatrices se deslizan con la calma de la brisa y ya no puedo, ya no debo ceder. Mata como estaca y en su filo se destaca la agonía que me aplaca, mi locura se desata. Si la vida no me deja terminar lo que empecé, me resigno a perder. Perfume su piel, huella rozando mi sien. Me culpará por tener una manera de ser que no coincide muy bien.
from Uruguay, Sipitriky is what I'm sticking with. I'm sticking with Sipitriky. Carlos Fandango, take it away.
Yes, Sipitriky, very, very good. I like the brass intro, and it sort of sets the scene for that sort of Latin, not quite mariachi, but that sort of the Latin feel. I like the fact that it stayed brass heavy all the way through. The emphasis was on that, although the guitar touches that they had, the little sort of fills, were very sort of Santana sort of feel. I like the rhythm change as well, because it starts off with a sort of very Latin rhythm, and then you get that sort of real swing to it into the song, and they played around with that sort of rhythm change. Yeah, you could sort of hear that in the background. You're in a cafe or something, having some nice South American coffee or something, and drinking your coffee. This is on in the background, and yeah, I can imagine this is great, sort of hot sunny day outdoor cafe music, that kind of thing. But I think they probably play it quite well live as well. I can imagine this being a good live track. But yeah, I like the feel of the song. I mean, it's and okay, I don't know the words, what they mean. It's in another language and it's in Spanish. So, but you kind of still get the feel for where the chorus is, and the melody is strong enough for you to sort of follow it, and it sort of feels foot tappy enough to follow it as well. So yeah, liked it. Good vibe.
I liked it quite a bit. It gave the beginning to me gave off like this Spanish kind of like Western feel. It definitely had all the elements to it, so I could definitely see this being like in a Quentin Tarantino film, especially, right? So I like the different aspects of it, and I wrote down an ENF factor here, the ebb and flow factor of 7, because the song progressed very nicely. It really did, and even though the recording may not have been as professional as anybody's used to, it definitely, you could feel those builds, and I loved that Carlos Santana like kind of like guitar like in the distance there, right? But it just hits your eardrum just correctly. So I think great song. I think you're absolutely right. Like having a live version of this, like seeing them play live, and this would probably be like a really, really nice live production with a whole bunch of people on stage, because you would obviously have a pretty big brass section here, and somebody that's obviously well versed on the guitar. So I think great job all around. Absolutely fantastic. Sipitriky from Uruguay with Adicción there. So
very good. Yeah, and I think Tarantino, if you're watching, snap them up for your next film. They could do a lot of your soundtrack for you.
Absolutely, yes, sir. Yeah, because I thought Django Unchained had the same kind of like melodies going on in it and everything like that. But if you look at the music that's been used in the Tarantino films, where we go into "Girl, go down, you'll be a woman soon," so you get that kind of vibe with this song. So I mean, it works. So once again, Quentin Tarantino, if you are watching, if you're looking for music if you're listening, if you are looking for music for your movies, then you have no other place to go but the Underground Sound. By all means, check out.
We know he's a fan of the show, and he's one of the. I'm sure he subscribes already.
Absolutely,
I'm sure he does. Yeah,
100%, 100%, no doubt in my mind. Get into the video description below, find these artists, go show some love by all means. If you're a movie producer, aspiring movie producer, whatever the case may be, then hey, you might have some licensable music here for yourself as well. So you don't need to be completely up on that level just yet to snag up some great music. We are at our halfway point here on the Underground Sound, so we will take our short little break here, but we'll be back, and believe me, it will be 100% seamless for you. I am DJ X Tech. With me is Carlos Fandango. We are putting the us back into music,
so please do like, subscribe, and share, and let's get your music out there.
And we shall be right back. Watch. There we go. We are back now for our second half of the Underground Sound, and second half song number 6. We have someone that we've had on the show before, Leah Simmons with Little Blue. What do you got for me on this song, Carl?
Little Blue, right? Okay. So, firstly, interesting artwork on this one. Actually, it's sort of possibly alluding to the Queen's The Miracle album, where they had 4 faces of Freddie, John, Roger, and Brian, sort of molded together, where she's got this on her artwork here. But this is a really good song. We've had Leah Simmons on the show fairly recently. She had another song on the show, but this one I had to have on because I think it's even better, and it's really, really good song. This one just simply says in the description, "When you give all you've got," and it's alternative rock and singer-songwriter categories. So sort of a big ballad type thing, really. But it's had 7 saves already from only 91 plays and 187 fire on slaps. So it's been well received from the people that have heard it so far.
Right. And I thought this was 23 hours ago. It was actually posted 23 days ago. So her last song, Radiate, was a bit more of a countryish vibe to it. So if this one's like alternative rock, I'm kind of anxious to hear this one. Let's get it going. Leah Simmons here with A Little Blue.
Little blue, so much to do. So I'll keep writing these songs for you. Little blue, little blue, I'll keep on writing these songs for you.
Little Blue by Leah Simmons right there. Carlos Fandango.
All right, what can I say? There's a lot of detail in this song. The production is really good. It's got a lot going on musically all the way through. Some sort of like nice little touches of the xylophone or glockenspiel, piano, pad synth, dreamy sounding slide guitar, or might be a pedal steel guitar. The drums are fantastic. There's layers and there's depth in there. As with the lyrics and the vocal delivery, it's a really sort of personal feeling song. There was a Janis Joplin song, or at least a cover that she did years ago called Little Girl Blue. Not like this, but that kind of emotion to it, really. And that was an old show tune, actually. But if you ever get a chance to hear that one, I think it's just a brilliant song. And this has got that kind of sort of high emotional feel to it. The build into the big chorus, there's a lot of drama in there with the dum 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 dum, all that kind of thing going on. So that just adds to the drama and tension. But I tell you what, now if we had any doubts that that Leah could hit those big notes, then they can be put aside now, right this moment, because she really hits it nicely, and it's sort of a nice vocal delivery. And she impressed me on her delivery last time. I wasn't sure about her at first, then I liked it the more I heard it. With this song, it's an emotional song, but it's also, when she hits those big notes, you really feel it, and it's not overpowering either. It's just spot on. And I thought this was a fantastic song. I really, really like it.
I think this may be the first playlisted song of today, honestly, got to tell you the truth. So first off, love the storytelling. Leah did well with the previous song that we had, Radiate, and she does well with this one. The storytelling, the way that she's able to tell the story with her voice it's fantastic. And I wrote down here, contemporary yet classic, almost Janis Joplin kind of style, right? Because I heard the same thing that you did. So her vocal range was just phenomenal.
Yes,
as you had mentioned, where if there were any doubts that she could hit the big notes, maintain the big notes, and keep going, there's no doubt now. This is definitely pro production from start to finish. Honestly, the hard hitting guitars in here, once again with the lyrics, it's just it's a fantastic song all around. I mean,
one of the slaps comments says beautifully aggressive, and that really sums it up nicely.
it does, yeah.
Yeah, she's just delivered a little bit of, it's like, she's singing for this person that you feel sorry for, and she feels angry for this person, whatever they're going through, and that really comes across. I believe she's writing her own stuff, but she's interpreting that song so well.
Yeah.
And delivering it so well with emotion that it's hard not to feel the connection there immediately. So this I feel like this is a potentially big future star that should be somebody who's heard on the airwaves right now. But I think she needs to be heard. She needs to get out there, and she should be big.
Yeah. Big props once again to Leah Simmons right there. Radiate was awesome. This song, awesomer. Once again, I mean, I can't say enough good things here, because this is one of those songs that kind of like gives you some chills, and just kind of like, instead of writing comments or what it sounds like or whatever the case may be, you're really kind of like drawn into the song. The song really pulls you in, right? So fantastic. Great pro production once again, playlisted, loved every moment of it. Honestly, great job, Leah. And man, honestly, just can't wait to hear more. This is 2 songs from Leah that we've had that were, bangers pretty much, so
Yeah, and I think honestly, it'd be great if you're able to get an interview with Leah. I think she's Florida, isn't she? So she was not far down the road from you. But I thought that would be a great person to get on the show for an interview. She must be, with this quality of the song she's writing, she'd be very interesting to interview, and also perhaps get on as a guest to reveal on the show. I think her artistic perspective on things would be quite interesting to hear.
Yeah, she's from Fort Lauderdale, which is on the other coast, near Miami. So it's like 280-ish miles or so. Yeah, but not too far away. In the grand scheme of things, obviously it's not like 5,000 right now. So if we can make the show work from 5,000 miles away, for crying out loud, we can make it work from 280 miles away, right? So yeah, no, I'll chat with her. Let me make sure I note this.
Yeah, and I'll click on the next one to give folks a intro to the next one, which is, what is this, track 7? So
be track 7, yes. And Favah by Curtis Jerrod.
Yes, because Jerrod, hope this track inspires and uplifts you, because we all have God's favor over our lives. So it's a sort of it's not a song of worship, but it's kind of that kind of it will connect with a lot of people, I think. And I found this was when it was first uploaded. I think it was 19 days ago it was posted, but it was I think it was a bit of a slow starter, but people I see it's got 7 saves and a few plays, so it's definitely connecting with some people, and I thought it was quite interesting. So and it's actually from Somerville. So whereabouts is Somerville in USA? Do you know where that is, Tom?
Let me see if it just says Somerville.
It just says Somerville. So I'm just trying to work out what does that sound like? You have a guess, and I'll look it up. Somerville, USA.
Okay, the very first one that came up, Somerville, was South Carolina.
So, do you know we get lots of artists from South Carolina recently? So I'm thinking, is that a really sort of musical place or something, or is it just by chance we're getting a lot of South Carolinas?
It is. While doing my research on the bigger cities to kind of like promote music in, Nashville being one of them, Austin, Memphis, then it was kind of like, you go into the Carolinas, whether it be North or South Carolina, they seem to be pretty big music cities. So yeah, I don't know if this is the exact Somerville they're talking about, because obviously with a name like Somerville, this could be, Somerville, Colorado. It could be Somerville, California. So there, it just happens to be the first one that came up, and I'm assuming just the proximity that I am from South Carolina. Then there's probably even a Somerville, Florida. Who knows? My goodness. But regardless of that, what's kind of weird about this track is looking at the waveform here. It kind of like seems like everything is happening within the first half of the song.
Oh, I don't know. It looks like it's got a bit of an ENF factor here, but I wouldn't be fooled by the waveforms. They're not always that accurate, as we've sort of noticed before. But yeah, it kind of, I think it looks like it happens, calms down a bit, happens a little bit, then happens a bit bigger at the end.
I'm really talking about the fires and the comments and everything. Because
I see.
Yeah,
no, I think that might be just I've noticed on my tracks where what I think happens is that a lot of the people that are uploading tracks and making a comment, one single word, just to get their track comments to track ratio up, they all happen at the start of the track.
Yes.
Slightly more substantial comments happen in the middle, and the longer comments happen at the end, which is why I feel like I might have set a trend there for putting comments at the end of songs, because I've noticed a lot of the longer comments are all at the end of songs now, and or certainly on mine. So, but this one I think is the case. A lot of people sort of just do their fires. They like it, they save it, they move on to the next one. They don't necessarily listen to the whole track.
It could be. I don't know. Hopefully the way that I'm thinking is that this gets boring towards the middle and towards the end. I always see whenever we have songs like this that had to have a lot of stuff going on in the beginning, and then but I always know that last blue dot right there, which represents a comment, I always know that last blue dot is Carlos.
You're sure right there.
That's one thing that I know, is because Carlos is attentive. He is very attentive, and he will listen to the song and he'll really absorb it and then give his comments there. So yeah, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Nathan and I had a conversation about that earlier on in the week, where he was talking about especially slaps, because this is the first kind of platform that I've seen that was really kind of like interactive music, right? Like where you're listening to the music. If there is anything like that that I don't know about, please let me know by all means. But it's the first one that I've seen where you could drop fires like real time and just kind of like, progress the comments and saves and everything like that throughout the song. Whereas you know, on Spotify, you don't really have that, right? If you're listening to the song and you happen to save it to like it into one of your playlists, then you're the only one that really sees that. But this one happens to be interactive like that, which is one of the things that I really liked about slaps, especially in the beginning. However, I did notice that, you know, the first probably about like, let's say 20 seconds of the song is taken up by people that are just like kind of like fire hits hard, or you know, whatever the case may be, trying to get their CTR kind of up there and everything like that, which there's nothing wrong with that. Like, listen, people promote their music in different kinds of ways, right? But I do like listening to songs all the way through, and listening to the beginning, the middle, and the end, obviously, and just trying to figure out if I actually do like the song rather than just kind of like the beginning portion of it. Anyway, before I start waffling on, as it were, this is Favah by Curtis Jerrod. I hope this track inspires and uplifts you, because we all have God's favor over our lives.
Hey, sometimes the devil just be trying it, man. And you just gotta remind him that I got favor. I like that. Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. Tell him what you want, tell him what you want. All at the same time, know that he won't let you go. He won't let you go, I know. Because I got that favor. I got it, yeah, you. Because I got that favor. I got favor. When I look around, I know that it surrounds me. It's something special, cause I know that it's beyond me. And I know it's every single promise you keep. Don't have to worry about a thing, faith on mustard seed. I know it's because of you that I have this breath, that I have this life. Whoa. I'ma rep my God and you gon' know I mean it. I'm not just singing, I'm living in it. If you got that faith, look and tell your neighbor. If you got that faith, tell your neighbor. Say I got that favor. I got it, yeah. Yes, I got that favor. I got it, yeah. I got it. I don't have to pretend, I know it's on me. And I'm thinking, say I got that favor. I got favor. All I am saying is God don't be playing. It's blessings on blessings and I cannot help it. He is the only one to bless you, won't stress you, nor will he forget you. All you need is to be a true leader. You will see he will bring it to your knees. Never lack, he provide you everything, just what you need. Jehovah Jireh, if you want that favor on you, he'll come through to see about you. To see about you. You will get that favor. I got it, yeah. to be. I'm loving this energy. You gon' get that favor. I got
Kind of a bit of a classic R&B type beat there, Carlos Fandango.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a sort of very modern sound, and for a religious, churchy type song, then it's certainly got a sort of classic R&B, hip hop sort of street vibe, a little bit Ed Sheeran, a little bit Kendrick Lamar, perhaps, or something. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, it's lyrics won't be for everybody, but there'll be a lot of people that it does appeal to, and I quite like the chorus. Kind of stays in your head. It's quite a strong chorus actually, with the favor, and also I quite like that section where it did quieten down, where you've got no fire things going on. I actually quite like that, with the leader, Nia, finger, all those kind of things going on. I thought there was enough going on to make it interesting as well. So, as I say, for a lot of the sort of religious church type music, praising God and worship type music, it's often not as quite interesting as that. And I found that quite interesting. So actually, if you could call it sort of R&B and hip hop, slightly hip hop, then that's about the most sort of interesting hip hop song I've heard recently. If it is that category, it's probably more R&B, but anyway, I thought it was okay. I quite like it. It's got an okay voice as well.
Well, I mean, it's registered here as R&B soul, which I mean, I totally see it. You know what I mean? Because it does have like a kind of like bluesy hip hop R&B kind of vibe to it. So yeah, the lyrics aren't going to be for everybody. That's for sure. You know, I mean, you're looking at two sides of the spectrum here. You know, people that believe, people that don't. You know, maybe some of the people in between and everything like that. But I like the old school type beat here, and I was thinking to myself as this was playing, is because it seems like this genre, especially like, let's say, hip hop, rap, R&B, it seems like there's polar opposites, right? Because you go through, you know, a good, 50-60% of the hip hop that's out there, and it's all just, horrible language, horrible themes, and just like most of it is negative and derogatory, whichever way you want to think about it. But and then you have this one, which is, again, the polar opposite, where it's faithful and it's uplifting, and not one single MNFer in there, you know what I mean? And so it's just kind of it's like that good meets evil kind of feel to it. But hey, man, if you got God's favor there, I like once again, I just like the old school type beat. I like the production in here, and as you said, not the greatest voice out there, but a good voice. So groovy. More power to you. 2 thumbs up. And by all means, folks, if you like that song, head into the video description below. Check out the artist. And I'm sure that there's more Christian themed music from Curtis Jerrod here, because they are available on Spotify. See, again, I was going to say iTunes. I was going to say iTunes again. Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and Amazon Music right over there. So Curtis Jerrod, that one was called Favah. Once again, thank you very much. And
I think our friend Rookie Rogers might enjoy that one.
he probably would. Would. There's good storytelling behind there. You know, I mean, it's not like it's an empty meaning song, right? So,
well, the thing is, I quite like that intro as well, because actually, whether you believe in God or not, if you believe in God, then you believe in the devil, but we all know, we all have our demons, and we all have our dark side as humans. So in the most deep level, even if you're an atheist, this will actually resonate with you to a degree, because he's talking about, that devil will try to tempt you. And we all know deep down, if we're all honest about it, we've all got our things and foibles and temptations that we just struggle to avoid, or, and those sort of dark rabbit holes we go down. Potentially. So everybody's got their demons in some respects, and I think so. So at a very base level, that song should really appeal to everybody. The problem is a lot of people won't listen to it because it's got that sort of religious feel to it.
Yeah, because of what it's marked as, especially, which would be Christian, the R&B soul. So, yeah,
But these souls, these poor souls, these poor wretches, they're the ones that do need to hear it the most.
I recommend it for everybody, even for the hardcore people that are out there that do not believe or that are struggling to believe, or whatever the case may be. Is just like listen to some of what the Bible has to say, and listen to some of the gospel that's out there, because there's a lot of it that does make sense. And I genuinely think that, I don't think that there's really many religions out there that are set out to be evil. So most of them are out there to help your internal being, your internal self. And as to Carlos's point there, we do all have that little devil, for lack of a better word, that's sitting in there and saying, go ahead, be lazy, eat that extra cupcake, don't exercise, go ahead, why not rob that bank, whatever the case may be. So whatever internal struggles that you're going through in your life, sometimes it does help to get a different perspective on things. And I think that Curtis Jerrod there, may help you find some of that. So by all means, check it out. Oh my goodness!
It's that time of the purple bowl. Do you know what? I was just playing around with the bits of paper inside, and I thought, oh, there's one without anything on it, and then I realised, of course, that it was something on it. It was just my finger was covering it. Anyway, that one was indie, but let's see if I just by chance pick that one out. But right, so Amnesia. So you say when
isn't indie like kind of like? Do we even need that category in there?
Well, this is this is the thing. When that's why I always say it's independent music review show, because indie music in the 1980s and 90s meant something specific. It meant the sort of jangly, grungy guitar, mainly jangly guitar type sounds, and guitar-based band music, generally speaking. Whereas you might think of indie as something like it's independent, all independent music. But I think of indie as that. So that's why I think that that category is probably separate on Slaps, because for a lot of people, indie is a sound.
Well, I get it, and a few days ago, maybe a couple of weeks ago, as a matter of fact, but I was given two ladies a ride in the car, and they were like asking, what I have going on, beyond what I do there for the rideshare and everything like that, right? I was like, well, I have a buddy that's out in England, and we do this indie review show and everything like that, and she thought that I was talking about Indian music, you know what I mean, like from yeah. So yeah, no, I understand the confusion totally. All right, the Purple Bowl of Destiny.
Well, wouldn't it be something? Because the one that's looking up at me now, after saying that, it got world music, so it's in there. All these different categories. There's so many different categories in the Purple Bowl that you would not believe, and we've not really exhausted it at all. I mean, there's so many categories yet that we haven't had.
I'm sure.
So anyway, I'll stir the pot, as it were.
Let's try to get one, and now.
Right. Oh, that one's a clear winner. Okay, I think we had this recently, but it is punk.
Punk.
We had cowpunk earlier.
We did
now,
indeed.
Straight down the line, punk.
The cowpunk was actually quite enjoyable.
It was indeed. Yes, punk. Now let's see wonder if that's a sort of post-punk. It's become a very popular thing, isn't it? Again, punk. So what have we got in the latest uploads?
Here we go. Groups. So we have just over 15,500 folks in the punk category here. Let's see what the new one is. The new tab is loading. This is just it's ridiculous, because like the transfer speed here is like a freaking terabyte or a gigabyte a second or whatever the case may be. And it's just like, oh
It's
my God.
always slow changing categories on slaps. It just reacts really slowly. Don't know why.
We got a group called Soft Snacks. They are from Raleigh, North Carolina. Go figure.
No, I won't say it. I won't say it. I was going to say something there, but I will not say it because it's good bad.
New
I think
single off upcoming EP out everywhere now. This song is called In a Lie. Not too much going on here for Soft Snacks. 8 followers, 91 plays, 5 tracks, joined June 29th, 2022. It doesn't have much influences here. All it shows that they're punk, rock, indie rock, alternative rock, singer-songwriter, indie, and upcoming.
Yeah, solo projects. It says, yeah, Raleigh, North Carolina, another North Carolina. That is a big state for music, you know, for music
I
makers.
literally just said that.
Did you just say that? Sorry. I think it's because I was, I can't multitask. I was clicking through to catch up with you. In case you weren't listening to Tom there, it's, artists from North Carolina.
Soft Snacks in a Lie. Also available on Spotify. Let's let Carlos compose himself here, and we'll check out this song's In a Lie by Soft Snacks, also available on Spotify. Intrigues me about this one is it says that it's a solo project.
Because it feels like a live recording of a band. And for me, because it felt like the tempo was variable during the track, so it felt like a live recorded song and a band song because of that tempo. Maybe it was my imagination, but the tempo felt like it changed a bit. But that might be deliberate because you can change the tempo in recording sessions, and it's good for people to do that. But because you don't want everything at the same tempo all the time. Yeah, there's sort of an element of, I don't know if it's Joy Division or whatever, but it's definitely sort of a retro sort of feel to it. Actually, it had quite a good feel to it. I mean, it's not one I'd listen to time and again, but I don't think the Purple Bowl of Destiny has chosen too badly there. I quite enjoyed it. Yeah, it was all right. It was not unpleasant song to listen to, I would say.
I'm going to agree with you there. I like the fact that it gave off that classic 80s vibe kind of to it, because it definitely had a nice classic, like kind of like 80s drum beat to it. And the whole way through it just kind of like seemed like the song was enjoyable. So like to your point is, I wouldn't listen to it time and time again. However, if it came on when it was on the playlist, I wouldn't like skip over it, right? It's because it's one of those songs that, if you hear it, you're going to like it, which is just kind of like, so it was posted 4 hours ago, 3 plays, 0 saves, 2 fires so far on this one. Overall, 8 followers, 91 plays with 5 tracks. I don't know how big exactly, like kind of like punk-ish or like 80s kind of like, kind of like synth kind of like music is in Raleigh, because usually when I think of the Carolinas, I usually think about either kind of like rock or country-ish kind of vibey songs. So I'm not sure as to how huge punk would be out there, but it definitely delivers on what it is. It doesn't sound like a bad production, especially once again, if this is genuinely a solo project. And I think it was very well done.
Yes, definitely got that retro vibe about it. And as I say, it's not one that I listen to again and again, but there'll be an audience for it because there are people that like that kind of music. And the fact that he's in North Carolina kind of matters not as such, because these days, your music goes out to the world when you put it on the music platforms. Anybody can hear it. So that's the good thing, is that any people searching for punk stuff will get that and hear it.
Absolutely. And once again, folks, please visit the video description below, find the links to all these artists. And if you like that one, or if you like any of the other ones, then click on those links and by all means, show them some love, share them with your friends, share them to your social media posts. Let's get the word out there on these musicians, because each and every one of them deserves a little bit of recognition. So moving on, as we do, and I usually, once we hit about the second Purple Bowl of Destiny, I tend to get a little bit upset, because I know that this show will be ending very shortly. We are on track 9 here, and it looks like we got Black Eyed Susan from Safety Joe. What do you got on this one, Carl?
Yeah, Safety Joe. He said, so he's from somewhere in Wyoming, it says, and I'm like that guy from the old Dos Equis commercials. Dos Equis commercials, kind of for real on that. It's a wild ride. Hope you like the tunes. So now, shared influences with me would be Johnny Cash, but see, the thing is, he likes Volbeat, interesting, Tom Waits, Leonard Cohen, Radiohead, Marley. But when I heard the music, I like a few of the tracks of Safety Joe's, because I'm particularly in this one hearing a very Bowie influence on here, and I really liked it. And I thought, well, this is a bit different, this one, quite dark, but I quite like the this one says it's about a song about a woman in real trouble, called Black Eyed Susan. But I think the title appealed, and then once I'd heard the song, I thought, oh, I have to hear that again. So I did play it a few times, and there's something really, really sort of quite addictive about it. So I hope you'll find the same.
All right, well, here we go. This is the Dos Equis guy, Safety Joe, with Black Eyed Susan, also available on Spotify. Let's check it out here on the Underground Sound.
Susan can't explain how it got to be this way. Moving softly now, things that she can't say. Today it's gonna change. The hand that held her down will tremble. You'll be alright now. Black-eyed Susan reaches for the gun. Check the action, safety off, just like you taught her once. Now she can't stop it, it's already begun. He's gonna get a little taste of everlasting love. Black-eyed Susan crosses the room, winces that he'll see her soon. Feels the guilt pull back against her finger. Feels the bruise of the wedding embrace. Has to shake off the pain. And he holds fear like a cloud above her. Actions must decide who will stay alive. Now's the time to make your choice. Choose quickly now for your little boy. You'll be alright now. Black-eyed Susan raises up the gun. Check the action, safety off, just like you taught her once. Now she can't stop it, it's already begun. He's gonna get a little taste. Black-eyed Susan trembles with the gun. By the sides and squeeze real slow, just like you taught her once. Now she can't stop it, it's already begun. He's gonna get a little taste of everlasting love. Be alright now. Everlasting love. Be alright now. Everlasting love.
We got Joe over there with Safety First, Black-Eyed Susan, Carlos Fandango.
Well, yes, an unusual song. It's a dark song, dark ballad. It's the sort of song, well, with the sliding guitars and the unusual movement in the guitars, the chords and things. It's for me, it's a sort of Bowie album track that could have come from Black Star album, his last album. When you hear his vocals singing low, he sounds like Bowie a bit for me, and the high vocals as well. His enunciation is just in that sort of ballpark, in the same way that when Bowie sings "Wild Is the Wind," that sort of movement in his vocals. The lyrics tell a good story, and I like some of the lyrics as well, like the Black-Eyed Susan raises up the gun or trembles with the gun. And he's going to get a little taste of everlasting love. So she's going to get him. It could have come from Nick Cave's Murder Ballads album. It's that kind of song. And I love that aspect of it. Those sort of dark songs about sort of the dark side of love and the murder and crimes of passion. It's one of those kind of songs, and a really interesting song, because I at first wasn't sure. Then I heard it again. I thought, oh yeah, this is quite interesting, intriguing, and dark and mysterious. So I'd recommend anyone to check out Safety Joe's music, because he's definitely got a sort of a something going on there, something dark, mysterious. It's good.
And the Cave's got it going on with the red right hand. Bow, 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 bow. At first I heard like Nirvana, heart-shaped box, and then I was like, you know, the if you told me Frank Zappa wrote this, I would totally believe you. Butthole Surfers, like, I mean, there's so much that you could just compare the song to, but ultimately it is Joe's song, I mean, it sounded great. It could definitely be a movie soundtrack song. 100%. I didn't catch on in the Nick Cave until you had mentioned it, but yeah, absolutely 100%. I like that break that was there, when they had that and then it kind of moved in. And so as Carlos would say, like the ebb and flow factor of it, that it works very well. Great song. Great song all around. I gotta think, good production. I would have loved to have heard the vocals a bit more accentuated, a bit more up there on top of the music, right? Whereas the guitar was kind of like the main character in this story. So that would be my only critique right there, would be move those vocals up, move that lead guitar just a little bit down. Otherwise, yeah, for sure, I would love to hear this again. Most
I mean,
definitely.
it might be a case of self-production. Therefore, like me, just like everybody who self-produces, possibly lacking confidence in your own voice, thinking, right, okay, well, if I blend it in a little bit with the guitars and everything else, but actually it hides it. And if like him, you've got a good vocal that could be showcased, I'd say to Safety Joe, go for it. Just raise your, like you said, raise your vocals slightly, because actually that's a really good vocal he's got there.
Yeah, no,
Well
it's the entire thing is that there's a great story going on there, but it's sometimes throughout the production there's is drowned out by the guitar. So the whole thing is like, raise up those vocals, drop that guitar just a little bit, like maybe even just work. Maybe you don't have to do the complete raise and drop, but just work on the automation at some points and just make sure that the entire story is getting across. Otherwise, I mean, I think an absolutely fantastic production. Loved it. Great song. Good job. Safety Joe, don't be safe with your vocals. Get them up there. We got song number 10 here. Is it Hrisi? Hrisi.
Yeah.
Hrisi says she is still green.
From Sofia in Bulgaria, all around the world. We've now gone to Bulgaria as well.
There you go.
We're gradually globetrotting. So we are the underground globetrotters. It's quite incredible, actually. The music's from all over the place. And this says Still Green is the first track from my album Humanity. I hope you like it. Wait for my second track, Mars. So that hasn't been uploaded yet. It's only been one track. She got 9 followers from one track. She's a singer and songwriter. And I thought this is a showstopper slightly different for us to have a showstopper like this. But I thought if I remember rightly, she's got quite a sort of big sound, and it's worth giving a go as a showstopper, I thought.
Okay. So join September 12th, 2022. 10 comment to track ratio. I was going to say click through ratio, but obviously that's just something different. So I don't think that that's bad either, because of the one track, which means that she's commented on quite a few tracks here to get her track uploaded here. So available on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube also. Still Green is the first track from the album Humanity. Hope you enjoy it. Singer-songwriter Hrisi from Sofia, Bulgaria. Let's check it out.
From the stairs to the ground, it's a long way, I know, but I'm willing to try. I'd do anything to go back. I'd do anything to go back to the beginning of time and take a rest. The skies are gray and the trees are green. Stop telling me lies. Take this phone call. Never asking why. I'm staying silent in my own thoughts. I can't have enough. It's never enough. The skies are gray and the trees are green. The rain is falling down on me. Chirping birds woke me up. It was all a dream. Oh, dream. Standing still, soaking wet. My hair is sticking to my back. I feel my heartbeat through my chest. Ooh, I don't wanna go home. I don't wanna go home. Not yet. And I woke up on the other side. And still I'm willing to try. I have to learn the art of letting go. But I'm still green. 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 I'm still green.
I don't know, Carl. You think she's still green?
You know, it's her first upload, first track, so possibly. But she sounds like she's confident, so perhaps not. It's very sort of pop idol, a Euro version of pop idol type thing. One of those sort of strong woman songs. Although she's saying "I'm still green," it's that kind of vocal, like a Rolling in the Deep type of feel to it. You know, where she's taking ownership of the song. Solid vocals and production. Slightly affected sort of modern style of singing, but I think I'd like to hear more of her than again. I feel like she's sort of trying to emulate someone, but possibly Adele or someone, but I'm not sure. But I like the choir parts and the sort of the backing vocal call and response type things going on. The guitar fills are nice. There's an obligatory sort of quiet section before the last solo, last chorus. So it's quite formulaic in a sense of the sort of modern formula of the pop song. And it seems that the quiet sections in songs have replaced what used to be a guitar or sax solo or whatever it used to be. That's not a bad thing, but I think the chorus is actually quite memorable as well. The I'm still green thing. And the end acoustic guitar part is almost sort of unexpected. The way it ends is a little twist in the tail. So I quite like that actually. And I think overall she's got promise. And I think, she carries on along those lines with those kind of strong, powerful vocals. I think she could carve out a nice potential career for herself.
So, I mean, wow on the vocals is really where I'm at, because the song kind of like really took me by surprise. Like kind of like a very high energy vibe, right? So I gotta say, I wrote down that she's gonna give Leah Simmons a run for her money here. As far as vocals are concerned, they both, not to speculate here, but they both kind of like look like maybe about the same age. They're both very young women still. So listen, production wise, there's nothing to complain about here. Kind of like, to your point, is to accentuate yourself as a singer rather than kind of like be commercial about it. I agree with that, but it's an enjoyable song. I wouldn't necessarily say Adele or anything like that. I think that this is I think that it's along those lines of kind of like being more original than kind of like following Adele. But I totally understand your perspective on the Adele type lyrics here. It's very strong, right? She's definitely like digging deep in there to get that vocal out. So you can feel that. All around a great production. Kind of like what we talked about before with the other songs is would I throw it on the playlist? Not necessarily, but would I listen to it if it came on? Yes, I would. So that would just be where I'd probably have to stop with this comment because I think that this was done in a proper recording studio, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I do believe that the vocals were mixed in a way to make the vocals commercial, right? And so with making the vocals commercial, it tends to sound commercialized. Where once again, nothing wrong with that. It's a radio friendly song, especially time wise, production wise, and everything. But I think that I would like to hear a Hrisi upload, kind of like all by herself because it kind of like says Sofia Bulgaria here, but then it's also listed under British music. So it kind of like one makes me want to think: is there a management company behind Hrisi that's actually kind of like pushing this out, right? So once again, nothing wrong with that. If you got a manager and there's somebody working for you that you're signed to a record label and everything like that, then good for you. But once again, as we do here, we like to keep things on the underground level. So all I'll say is once again, great vocals, very Leah Simmons style to me. Not to promote and kind of like compare to like the way up there, like higher end singers and everything like that. I really would like. Again, if this is not like a 100% original song that Hrisi herself wrote and everything like that, I would be very keen on listening to her vocals on something else.
Yeah, we'll have to wait with bated breath for the second track, Mars, which hopefully will come out soon. But I agree with what you're saying. I think it'd be interesting to see what scope she has for other types of songs as well. I think she probably has got the voice to certainly do ballads, certainly do this kind of sort of pop rock type of song. She probably is writing her own songs because it says singer and songwriter, but it might be a co-written song. But and also I was looking at the image and thinking she's sort of carving out a distinct image for herself. I think I get what you're saying about the Leah Simmons comparison vocally, in so much as I don't think they're similar vocals, but they attack the vocals.
They're powerful. They're powerful. Is what
They've
I'm
got
saying.
a lot of attack and aggression in their voice. So yeah, I think they really go for it, and she sounds like she's going for it when she's singing it. So she's definitely putting her heart and soul in it. And you can imagine somebody like this, Hrisi on Pop Idol being in the final group. I think that's that kind of vocal to me, where she can belt out a good song. But it'd be interesting to see what she's like if she's sort of doing a soft and tender ballad love song or something. I'd love to hear that too.
I think the closest comparison that I would be able to come to is if you know of Jessica Simpson, right? Jessica Simpson had the same kind of like attack in her voice where it was like super powerful, right? So we're talking about rock, we're talking about a little bit of country influence and everything like that, right? So we're kind of like up there. So just the comparison that was made between Hrisi here and Leah Simmons is the fact that they are obviously on a journey to make this a big career for themselves, and both of them deserve it. They do. It's just that I would love to hear an original kind of like, here we are, this is me kind of song.
Yeah. I think this has done a fair job in announcing her out there, but I know what you mean. Yes, I think it'll be interesting to see what else she can do, to see what the variety is and her range, and actually hear her bare soul kind of thing. Yeah.
Listen, we've listened to quite a few songs on here where I would be really disappointed if some of these artists came out to be like one hit wonders, because there was like some kind of like production company or a radio contract like it introduced like very early on, right? Because there's potential. There's potential here, a tremendous amount of potential. It's like let's not stop at the one song. Let's see where this is. Where this can actually progress to. Love it.
Absolutely.
Good deal, folks. That was our show closer right there. By all means, please visit this video description below. Find links to these. Now I feel kind of silly saying indie because you told me that indie is a completely different genre, right? So all these independent musicians, singers, songwriters, whatever the case may be, please visit the links in the video description below. Find them, love them, show them some love, put them on your Spotify playlist, and by all means, please visit usundergroundsound.com, which is the home to the Underground Sound and all shows that will be contained within. And find our playlist there. Add our playlist onto your phone or your playlist, or how would that work? I don't even know. But this was episode 16 for the Underground Sound. We hope that you enjoyed it as much as we did. I am DJ Exec. With me, as always, is Carlos Fandango, and we are putting the us back into music.
So please do like, subscribe, and share, and let's get your music out there.